So this is now, we're in part 3 of this first unit of selecting an instrument. And this part we're going to talk about brass instruments, a second part of the wind instrument group. These instruments you play a little differently than the woodwinds. These ones you have to buzz your lips. All of these next instruments you have to buzz your lips. And buzzing means that it sounds like this. You push your lips together, you kind of think of the letter M and say M, and where your lips end on that M, that's where you kind of put your lips, and then you blow air through that ending. And that's kind of what you do to play the sound. It helps when you have a mouthpiece. This is a trumpet mouthpiece, and so you make that sound into the mouthpiece. Okay, so as I play the mouthpiece on my lips, now it sounds kind of silly by itself because we don't have music where we use just the mouthpiece, so we get the instrument. So we'll start with the first brass instrument, which is the trumpet. Here's my mouthpiece I had, I'll put it in there. It's the mouthpiece, the instrument, the bell. It has all different parts. We'll go over those when we're learning the instrument. The trumpet, you buzz, and then you notice that this only has 3 buttons, whereas the woodwinds, like for example if I grab this clarinet, it has a whole lot more than 3. I'll get closer so you can really see all of the buttons on a clarinet. I'm even covering some down there. Okay? So the difference really is with the woodwind, you push a button and you form your embouchure. That's the way we form our lips to play an instrument. And you blow the right kind of air and you're going to get the right note. Kind of, right? With a brass instrument, you only have 3 buttons. So that means you have various choices, right? So you can do, like for this one, if I don't push any buttons, or if I tighten my lips a little bit, or a little more, could be any of those, right? And so you have to know how to buzz your lips, and it's a little challenging. Some students will say, well, I don't want to play that instrument or this instrument because it looks harder. I want to play this one because it looks easy. You know, whether some students say, well, it only has 3 buttons, it's easier, I want to try that one. Or some people say, well, the clarinet, if you push the right buttons and blow, it's going to play the right note, I want to play that one. I just tell you, every single instrument has its own challenges. Every single one. And sometimes one instrument might be easier to start out on, and another one might be a little challenging, but then later that easier one has some things that are really hard to do that you have to learn how to do, and the other one might have some easier things, or everything has its own challenges, okay? So, back to brass. This is a trumpet. It sounds like this. Okay, and you play all those different notes, and of course we're going to start playing 1 note, and 2 notes, and 3 notes. First whole 2 pages of the book uses 3 notes. That's it. Okay, and then we'll just add notes slowly. So, that's kind of the trumpet. That's what it sounds like and looks like. The next I'll show you is the horn. Most people call this the French horn. Technically, it's just called the horn, although I sometimes call it French horn because otherwise people don't know what I'm talking about. So, this is the horn, and it also has 3 buttons. This particular horn has a 4th, what we call a trigger, but most French horns don't when you start. Well, I wouldn't say most. Some French horns don't have a trigger. I believe our school instruments do, they're double horns, and we'll talk more about that when we start talking about the horn. But you notice it looks different than the trumpet, and it's going to sound different, okay? And so probably the biggest question I get is, why do you put your hand in the bell? People ask me that all the time when I play the horn. And the quickest answer is because that's the way we hold it. And there are lots of other answers. There really are. Now, and if you're interested in the horn, you want to learn more about it, I can talk to you about it. But this is the horn. This actually is my main instrument. This is an instrument I started on when I started beginning band, when I was just a little kid. And I played this one all the way through college. Okay, and actually this particular horn I played in college. So I'm a horn player. That's what I play. So you can start on it. Some people say it's too hard to start on. I understand that. If you want to start on something else and come to this later, that's cool too. But you can do it. It's possible. Okay, next we're going to show you the trombone. So the flute was kind of the unique woodwind where it didn't have a reed. The trombone then would be kind of the unique brass instrument where it doesn't have any valves. Okay, there's no valves on a trombone. So how do you make different notes? Well, this thingy right here slides. I'll move so you can kind of see it slide out. Okay, it slides and makes the instrument go longer or shorter. The valves make the instrument longer and shorter. Okay, so. Okay, so because it slides, it can do things like this. Okay, and you can't do that on any other brass instrument. And it kind of makes it kind of cool. We don't tend to do that very often in concert band. Sometimes we've had some pieces where it asks for the trombone players to do that slide sound. But most songs they don't. But it's still pretty cool and fun to do. So notice when we talked about the woodwinds in the last video, we talked about how some of them were smaller and some were bigger to create different sounds in the band. And that's how it is so far. You saw the trumpet. It's the smallest brass instrument we use in our beginning band. And then the French horn is a little bit bigger. And then the trombone, a little bit lower of a sound. And then we're going to get another instrument here. This instrument actually is the same range as the trombone. This is called the euphonium, this one. Now, some bands have baritones, and some people have baritones, and some people have euphoniums. There is a difference between them, but they play the same range. And so if you have a baritone at your house, and you say, well, Mr. Garner said it's a euphonium, you might have a baritone, and if you want to play that, that's cool too. Okay, either one will work. They read the same music. So this particular one is a euphonium, and it's the same range as a trombone, but it has valves. That's kind of the difference. Okay. Okay. So same range, valves. They do play different music often in our concert band, and so we do need both. We need the trombone players and we need euphonium players or baritone players. Okay, and so that's kind of the brass instruments. Those are the 4 instruments that we use in beginning band. The 4 brass instruments we use in beginning band. Okay, so the trumpet, French horn, the trombone, and the euphonium or baritone. Okay, those are the 4 instruments that we're going to use. There are other brass instruments, specifically the tuba. The tuba looks kind of like the euphonium, only it's even bigger and creates even a lower sound. I just find usually in beginning band it's a little bit big for some of the beginning band students, and we usually try and transition to the tuba into like 7th grade band. Okay, so those are our brass instruments. Our next video is going to go over the electric bass, so stay tuned for that one. You want to see that one. And then after that, we'll get into percussion. So keep stakes, watch all these videos. Now you've watched the brass. Hopefully you make a list of your favorite brass instrument and your next favorite. So the 4. So rank them 1 through 4. So you should have ranked 1 through 5 in your woodwinds, 1 through 4 in your brass. Okay. Then we'll show you the string and the percussion, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen after all of that. Okay. So we'll see you on the next one.